breaking the rules of HSR. For the entire lifespan of Honkai Star Rail, we have had a very comfortable understanding of how character identity works. A character's path is their DNA. It defines their lore, their personality, and their exact role on your account. But the massive April leak flood that just hit the community proves that HoYoverse is tearing up the rulebook. They are fundamentally changing the core identities of our most popular male characters, and in the process, they are constructing the most brutal, unforgiving free-to-play Jade trap we have ever seen. If you are a husbando collector, or if you are planning to pull on any banner between version 4.1 and 4.5, you need to freeze your account right now. Today, we are going to talk about the absolute panic happening in the Blade mains community, the shocking path changes coming to Aventurine, and why the 4.3 Fate collab is going to bankrupt your account if you don't realize what HoYoverse is secretly building in the background. Begin of leaks, Blade SP. Let's address the elephant in the room, version 4.3 and Blade SP. When Full Stop Chan dropped the leaks via the HXG network, the community went into an absolute frenzy. Why? Because Blade SP is no longer a destruction unit. He is officially leaked as a 5-star Nihility character. Now, from a pure lore and narrative standpoint, this is actually an absolute masterpiece of writing. Blade's entire character arc is defined by the Mara-struck curse. He is a man trapped in an endless cycle of suffering, desperately seeking a death that simply will not arrive. The path of Nihility literally governs meaninglessness, despair, and the void. Transitioning Blade from the chaotic violence of destruction into the hollow despair of Nihility is brilliant character development. But mechanically, this has triggered a massive wave of anxiety. The leaks state that Blade SP will feature 2 forms, or stance switching, making him a flexible unit that balances debuffing support and personal damage. This is where the Blade mains are panicking, and honestly, I completely understand why. Blade has always been a hypercarry. You build a team around him to watch him deal massive damage. The fear right now is that the word flexible is just corporate code for support first, DPS second. There is a very real, terrifying possibility that Blade SP is simply going to become the ultimate dot slave for Kafka, or a dedicated debuff battery for Acheron. If his Nihility form forces him into the back seat to buff other characters, it completely shatters the power fantasy of playing Blade. We have to wait for the beta numbers, but the anxiety in the community is 100% justified. Begin of leaks, Aventurine SP. But Blade isn't the only one having an identity crisis. Fast forward to version 4.5 and we have the Aventurine SP leaks. Aventurine is dropping the preservation path entirely. He is leaving his shields behind and returning as a 5-star Elation DPS focused purely on follow-up attacks. Unlike Blade, the community reaction to this has been almost universally positive. It makes perfect sense. Aventurine is an IPC executive who bets his life on the flip of a chip. He is a showman. Preservation made sense for his initial boss fight lore, but Elation fits his actual personality flawlessly. Taking his current counterattack mechanics and pushing them to the absolute extreme as a greedy hypercarry DPS is exactly what his fans wanted. But this is where HoYoverse is setting the trap. They are taking the 2 most popular male characters in the game, completely revamping their kits to make them fresh and necessary, and dropping them back to back. Begin of leaks, the 4.3 Bloodbath, the Fate collab collision. And that brings us to the financial reality of this roadmap. Let's look at version 4.3. You do not just have Blade SP dropping in 4.3. This is the exact same patch that HoYoverse is launching Wave 2 of the Fate Stay Night collaboration. The leaks have locked it in. Gilgamesh and Rin Tosaka are both going to be available for the entire duration of the patch. I want you to really think about the absolute cruelty of this release schedule. In the span of a single version update, you are going to have to choose between Gilgamesh, the king of heroes and potentially the most broken imaginary erudition unit ever designed, and Blade SP, a massive lore-heavy redesign of a fan-favorite character. If you lose a single 50-50 in version 4.3, your account is going to be completely wiped out. You will have 0 Stellar Jades remaining for Aventurine SP in 4.5. HoYoverse HoYoverse is fully aware that husbando players have been hoarding jades for months because the meta has been dominating by female characters. They are dropping a localized nuke on the jade economy to force you to swipe. Begin of Leaks, the secret synergy, why you regret skipping Ashvale. But the trap goes even deeper. If you thought you could just pick your favorite and ignore the rest, there is a secret synergy layer that connects all of these characters together. According to the deepest parts of the leak, Blade SP, Aventurine SP, and the version 4.1 Hunt character Ashvale are not just random releases. They are explicitly designed to function as a cohesive three-man core team. Ashvale applies massive debuffs and defense shreds through his bait mechanics. Blade SP utilizes his Nihility stance to apply vulnerabilities, and Aventurine SP feeds off all those debuffs to trigger an endless cascade of elation follow-up attacks. This means if you are sitting in version 4.1 right now, looking at Ashvale and thinking, I'll just skip him and save for Blade, you are actively ruining the engine that powers the 4.5 Aventurine team. HoYoverse is creating a puzzle where the pieces are sold across 3 different patches, spaced months apart. By the time you realize how perfectly Aventurine and Blade work together, Ashvale's banner will be long gone, and your synergy team will be incomplete. That's the most aggressive monetization strategy we have seen in Honkai Star Rail so far. You are being forced to pull on faith. So what do? You have to map out your account right now. You cannot let the hype of Gilgamesh blind you to the synergy of the SP characters. To help you survive this absolute bloodbath, I have programmed a massive multi-patch jade economy calculator on my website. It tracks all the estimated free jades from 4.1 through the 4.5 updates. The link is pinned right at the top of the comments section. Download it, input your current jade count, and look at the cold, hard math. If the calculator says you can't afford the Fate Collab and Blade SP, you have to make the hard choice today. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about Blade leaving the destruction path? Are you worried he's going to become a support, or do you trust the Nihility vision? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the V3 beta kit numbers when they finally drop, and I will see you all in the next video.